Welcome to the Minimasters, and today I'm smoking out my exhaust. But before we get into that, I'm going to show you what I've got going on here. So right here on the driveway is the smoke machine made by Solari. It's just some Amazon brand, and it comes with a power cable that hooks to your battery, kind of like jumper cables. This rubber hose, it terminates in the silver piece, and then you can add a couple of different adapters. So I have the exhaust pipe adapter on here, so you kind of just squeeze it down. It'll fit into most exhaust sizes. And then it comes with this plastic fill bottle, and according to the directions, you fill it up to whatever 40 is, some kind of measurement, and you dump it in the inlet. Now they sell special like oil or something for smoke machines, but really most people just use baby oil. So I got some trusted Johnson & Johnson baby oil, and once you got it topped up, you got it hooked up to your battery, boom, and you're back in business. So one thing to consider if you plan on buying this one is what you plan to do with it. So I'm testing the exhaust, which means I'm much further away from the battery. So I homebrewed basically an extension. I have two pieces of 1/2-inch copper pipe hooked to jumper cables, which then hooks to the battery. Now, the intended purpose of most smoke machines is to test for leaks in the engine bay, which is probably why the leads are really short, but that's how you can go about doing this with an exhaust. They do make battery powered ones or something, or rechargeable, and that can help you test anywhere on the vehicle without having to, basically homebrew an extension setup like this. Now, real quick, before I let this thing rip, old school mechanics used to use smoke machines or just homebrew ways of making smoke to find leaks. Vacuum leaks, exhaust leaks, intake leaks. And it's a really great tool because otherwise you have to fire up the engine and usually use a vacuum gauge, and it's still, you're still kind of hunting around playing with it. Where smoke, as soon as it fills the cavity, boom, it pops through at your nearest leak. So that's why I've hooked up to exhaust, because I'm curious. Do I have an exhaust leak? So let's let her rip. Real quick, guys, I'm still selling stickers. So I got the Minimaster script, the OG Minimaster spark plug logo, and the popular OBS Sunrise and the Never Found Club. Link in the description. Let's get back to wrenching. All right, so here we go. So the red light says that you're powered on, and I think this one gets to green once it's up to a certain temperature. But got it all hooked up, and oop, I see smoke, and it's not coming out of the exhaust. Now, one thing to note, the attachments are only so good, and since I have an angled exhaust, I may have some leakage around there, but let's just see. Uh-oh. So we have our first leak here, and it looks like I've got a pretty large crack right there in my exhaust, and then this bend, that seam along the bottom, looks like it's not the greatest. So, okay, so there's our first leak indication. Let's see if we're leaking from anywhere else. Now, quick tip, if a huge leak like this is preventing it from really building up pressure and testing the entire exhaust, I recommend getting some tape, and you tape the leaks off as you go to keep the pressure building if you're trying to find leaks further down a system. All right, so still hunting around. It looks like this V-bend right here isn't quite as tight as it could be. Let's keep searching. All right, so here's the scoop. I let the smoke machine run for a few more minutes, and I just kind of was inspecting the exhaust all the way up to the exhaust manifolds and the headers, and I didn't find any leaks. Now, what is the significance of the findings today? Well, the leaks that we found are after the catalytic converter and after the O2 sensor, which is good because any leaks that happen before those two will mess up the air-to-fuel mixture, because the O2 sensor is going to start getting a bad reading because obviously it's starting to bleed out in the engine bay. It also means that you've got exhaust smell in your engine bay, which also means it could end up in the cap. So I'm very pleased with the findings of the smoke machine, but it definitely tells me it looks like I've got a new exhaust to put on here, which could be quite fun. Well, guys, that's it. I really hope you enjoyed this video. A link for this bad boy will be down in the description, and hopefully it'll help you find your leaks too. See ya!